He said, what was your first 5 months of startup look like? Ooh, great question. The first 5 months. Jarrell, you want to go first? What was your first 5 months?
I'll go first. Okay. This is not filtered, straight off the dome.
Yep.
I shot on the Canon T2i Rebel for the longest time, and I had a feeling that I could do this professionally. I don't know why I had a feeling that I could do this professionally. I think I just loved it. And so day one, I reached out to my mom, and I said, Mom, can I borrow $10,000? And she gave me $10,000 for a laptop, the 5D Mark III, the 70-200, the 16-35, and maybe an 85. And the reason why I tell you guys that is probably like a lot of you guys, like my mom doesn't have a lot of means, but she believed in me, and that changed my life. And so from there, I got hooked up with a wedding photographer that did not have video a part of their business.
Okay.
And at first we sold really cheap. It was maybe $300, $200 per wedding, just to prove to his brides that I could do it. And then from there, we instantly jumped into $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 video packages. So that was the first 5 months.
Yeah, I think for me, when I think about the first 5 months, I think about when I actually quit my job and went all in on this. And before I quit my job, I had really made a plan. I actually had a 1-year plan to quit my job and then to be able to pursue this. And I worked that plan out. But the last part of my plan was to lock down a retainer client.
Yeah.
And so I locked down a retainer client that basically was going to pay me right around $25,000 a year. And it was going to be paid out on a monthly basis or whatever. But when I did the math, I was like, okay, this is $25,000. I had saved up 6 months worth of expenses already, and I was still hustling, making money already.
Yeah.
So when I quit my job, the first 5 months was honestly a little bit shocking, because when you don't have somebody telling you, when you have a job, somebody tells you what to do every single day. There's certain expectations. What I found in the first 5 months was I was free, but freedom was honestly challenging for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was I can edit this whenever I want to, but at the same time, it was well, I got to get this done right now. And then I also ran into situations where I didn't have systems in place. So clients would be reaching out. I'd be in the middle of a shoot and they'd be like, hey, I need a quote back from you, or are you available on this day? And I was taking all day to get back to people. I didn't have systems at all.
Yeah.
So the first 5 months for me, Colton, full transparency, was me figuring out, even though I thought I had figured out the money stuff, there was so much stuff I did not know how to handle.
Yeah.
And it was me discovering what those things were and then basically putting things into place to try to figure those out. Share some tips on managing finances for a videography business. I'll just run this one. The biggest thing you could do is separate. You have personal finances, you have business finances. First thing you need to do is separate the two. If you have not set up if you have not got a DBA or an LLC or an EIN to go create a business bank account, the most important thing you can do from the jump is to separate your finances and then pay yourself, so that way you can know where your money is going. The hardest part, especially because most of our money is digital, it's very easy for it to be honestly, sometimes I think it's oh, that's fake money.
Yeah.
Digital money to me sometimes feels like fake money, because spend some cash. That feels like real money.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I have learned is to separate my money. So that way it allows me to then see okay, what am I spending my money on for video-based stuff? And then how much am I actually paying myself? Because once you actually start paying yourself, what you realize, especially when you're taking on jobs and things like that, is you're well, I got to make enough to be able to pay myself.
Yeah.
But then I also still need to be able to make enough to be able to cover all these expenses, whether that's software, Artlist, Squarespace, whatever it is that all your expenses, Adobe, all those expenses. When you separate your money, it makes it much easier to be able to tell what's coming in and what's going out, and keeping those things separated.
While I open this box, I'm also going to give you one other thing. Someone needs to hear this on the stream. I'm not going to elaborate too much. You need to stop buying stuff.
Oof.
And I only say that because I'm a gear purchaser. Obviously, Brandon's a gear purchaser.
Hey, don't be talking about me.
Bro, we sitting in your office, dog. They can see what you buy. Y'all need to stop buying stuff.
Somebody needs to stop buying stuff. Don't say y'all. You don't know who they are.
Y'all, all of y'all. If you're on this podcast, you got gas. And it's not just what you need to stop doing, but it's what you need to start doing. And what you need to start doing is literally know that you probably have enough to start making money.
Oh yeah, you got enough.
But you're paralyzed. This is a word for one person. You're paralyzed into thinking. Nah, bro, I'm making money. You're paralyzed into thinking that, man, I just need this one more thing to be able to start being client facing. And it's like, dog, if you honest, if you looked at your gear right now, you got enough. How do you know when you can quit your job and go full time? Hey, I'm going to maybe give a different answer to this.
I love this question.
I'm going to give a different answer. I don't even know what Brandon's going to say. I got to be honest with you. For me, I feel like it has been a superpower to do both. Now, this is going to sound maybe like a little bit like gassing myself, and I'm not trying to gas myself, but I feel like for me, I have an ability to just like put my face down and grind. And what keeping a full-time job and doing video production has allowed me to do, and I've got a unique circumstance. I've got a stay-at-home wife and I've got 6 kids. And so because she doesn't work, we need 2 full-time incomes. Like it might be different if, she was working and then I wouldn't necessarily need to do both. But because I know that a particular amount of money is coming in every month that covers our expenses, I know that what we make on our video production is above and beyond. But I would say for me, it really needs to get to a point. So I like doing both. But if you specifically just want to do it, you need to be able to get to a point where I think it's right before you you can't. I don't think that you can wait until you're making as much money in your full-time job to be able to go full-time with video production. I think if you wait that long, I think that you'll always have a reason not to jump ship and do both.
I will say I'll make mine short so we can get to more questions. 1, build up 6 months worth of income.
Mm-hmm.
Just have that away. Like put that to the side. The second thing you need to do is you need to have 3 consecutive months where you do make as much as you're currently making at your current full-time job, that you're able to do that on the side. Figure that out. We can help you out with that. But then the biggest one, and this is the one that was for me, is work until you're about to get fired. And that's what I did. I was working at Apple and I was getting to a point where I was getting clients and they wanted me on days that I was at Apple. And so I was first trying to trade shifts, and then I was requesting time off, and then I was sick. And then I got to a point where I was like, ooh, I'm about to get fired if I don't quit, because they are not going to be too happy with me. And I'll be honest with you, if you work for a big enough company, like Apple is all about people and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I know I'm just a number on a spreadsheet. And so I was like, you know what? I need to go ahead and leave so they can replace this spot with somebody who's like more focused on Apple.
Yeah.
And the superpower, like when I told y'all in the first 5 months, what I realized quickly after I quit was I was giving Apple 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
When I was able to take those 40 hours and apply them to my business, oh my gosh, things blew up. Because it was like, 40 hours that I had to spend at Apple and then hustle on the side.
Yeah.
Now I can spend those 40 hours like working on more client acquisition, getting my website better, focusing on social media. Like I was able to do way more. And in fact, my YouTube channel just crossed 9 years old. And that's because I quit my job over 9 years ago today. Yeah. So literally when I quit my full-time job is when I started my YouTube channel. And basically I started building a secondary business that has now allowed me to also generate income from it. So, all right. So if you enjoyed this clip, do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button because we would love for you to join the community. Here, we're just a bunch of nerds who love camera gear and love talking about it every single week, which we do live at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. and you don't miss any of the other clips.